Hey guys, welcome back. I want to start off right away by saying I don't really know what the point of this video is. I don't know that it has a very clear or concise point that I'm making. I'm going to talk about how I've been doing lately and my primary struggle lately, which has been binge eating and body image. And I'm going to talk about how I feel like that relates to me and my avoidant personality disorder. But beyond that, it's a lot of this is just me feeling compelled to talk about what I've been struggling with and kind of looking for community on this platform because I feel like that's one of the most valuable parts about YouTube. So I'm just going to talk about it. I've been in a really, really difficult spot lately. And I haven't been doing very well, to be perfectly honest. My moods are very up and down, and I still don't know if that is bipolar disorder or if that's just my brand of major depression or whatever. But it's been tough, and the number one thing that I've been struggling with is my body image and binge eating, which kind of go hand in hand. It feels very cyclical to me. So I don't know how everybody else who struggles with body image feels about this, so I'm just going to talk about it from my perspective. From my perspective, I think about it 100% of my waking hours. 100% of the time that I am awake, I am aware of the way that I look to others. Even when I'm alone, I'm aware of it and I'm disgusted by it. And, and I understand that I've struggled with this my whole life. So even when I was 40 pounds lighter, I still felt this way and I was still very conscious of the way that I looked. But I started a new medication. I switched medications a couple months ago. And a common side effect of this new medication is gaining 10 to 15 pounds. It's an antidepressant. That's very common. And so that, in combination with my really bad binge eating episodes lately, pretty much daily binge eating, I am heavier than I've ever been. And I feel like every video that I come on here and talk about body image, I have to say that I'm the biggest that I've ever been, and that's really discouraging. It's embarrassing. And when you have avoidant personality disorder, your biggest fear is feeling rejected, criticized, or humiliated. All of which, at least for me, relate directly to the way that you are perceived by others, and for me it's the way that I look. My physical appearance is I feel very vulnerable to those three things because of the way that I look, or at least that's my perception. Okay, so I have a really fun event coming up this weekend. I leave tomorrow for this really fun bachelorette party weekend in Las Vegas. And while I am excited and I'm trying to be excited for it, I am absolutely consumed by thoughts of how I'm going to look. How I'm going to look in pictures. I'm meeting a lot of new people and I'm consumed by what they're going to think about me. the thought of potentially being the biggest girl there, the heaviest girl there, the ugliest girl there. It's all I can think about, and it's ruining this really fun weekend for me already. It hasn't even started. And unfortunately, when I'm, a lot of people would say, or for a lot of people, the easy answer would be just lose some weight if you're uncomfortable with the way that you look, right? But the problem with avoidant personality disorder and just depression in general and binge eating disorder is that it's really not that simple. For me, feeling uncomfortable in my body makes me very depressed. It makes me very anxious. It makes me feel very just negative about myself. And because of my avoidant personality disorder, it's very, very difficult for me to go to the gym. I have started going to the gym, but I've already had a panic attack in the parking lot once because of the way that I worry about being perceived by the others in the gym, and because of my fear of humiliation, and I'm consumed by these thoughts, you guys. I'm consumed by them. It's all that I think about. And then as far as diet goes, with binge eating disorder, has always been my number one emotional crutch. And I know a lot of people can relate to this, but it's a self-soothing tactic for me. There are days, especially when I'm particularly depressed, where that's the event of the day. That's what I look forward to in a day. That's the eating a delicious processed fast food meal, because of my addiction to fatty foods and my binge eating disorder, is like the shred of dopamine that will get me to the next one. So when I'm feeling bad and discouraged about the way that I look, all I want to do is eat more to comfort myself. And so that obviously that's going to bring you to a very hopeless place where you feel like you have completely lost control over your body. And like I said, I don't really know what the point of this video is, because I'm in the thick of it right now. I don't have advice or tips or anything. This is just me saying, this is the cycle that I'm in right now, and I'm struggling. And I think that avoidant personality disorder and binge eating disorder and just general self-loathing, those are all linked, and it makes it very messy. It makes it very difficult to break out of that cycle, that pattern of just self-sabotage, basically. So that's where I'm at. It's not good. It's not good. I'm very uncomfortable. I don't feel good, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. Another thing that I want to talk about in this video, or that I just kind of want to bring up because I feel like it's also part of the cycle, is avoidant personality disorders linked to substance abuse. I have not struggled with any serious addictions outside of, I guess, food addiction within my binge eating issues. But I have been, the last year or so, struggling with cannabis addiction. And substance abuse is super common amongst those of us with avoidant personality disorder. Number one is alcohol, because it helps so much in social situations because we have such high rates of social anxiety. It's very typical for us to get into habits of drinking excessively when faced with social interaction, like social obligations. And I definitely feel that. I just don't have a lot of social obligations, so it's not often that I find myself drinking because I'm isolated a lot of the time, so that doesn't help me. What does help me is cannabis, because it distracts me from these all-consuming negative thoughts that I have about myself and my body. But anybody who has used cannabis knows that it also increases your appetite and makes you want to eat. So for me, that's also part of this. I isolate myself because I'm embarrassed of just who I am. I isolate myself. That leaves me with excessive amounts of free time, which then becomes just free time for me to go through this cycle of, self-loathing and negative self-talk and intrusive thoughts about just negative intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts about my body. And in order to distract and comfort myself, I get really high and I eat a lot of food. And then immediately after that, feel intense guilt and shame and disgust, and the cycle continues. And I it's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. Go lay down. So that's where I'm at. Again, I hope this was not a waste of time for you. I hope you don't feel like you wasted your time if you watch this video, because I don't really have anything super helpful to add to this conversation besides just me sharing what I'm going through. If you are going through something similar, please, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And if you feel inclined to comment, please do, because that is hands down my favorite part about posting on this platform. I got really, really awesome, meaningful comments on my last video, and that made it, that really does make putting myself out there worth it to me. So please comment if you feel so inclined. If you have any tips or anything, maybe that's what I will try to focus on in my next video. And I'll see you next time. Bye.